You are listening to Real Talk, the weekly podcast that offers you success advice and practical pointers that enable you to unlock your phenomenal power and confidently step into your full potential. I'm your host, Janice Sutherland, here to inspire you to have the confidence to live the life you deserve. Hello and welcome back. It's been a while. Probably like yourself, I have been on holiday, part vacation and part work. I was fortunate enough to be able to attend two major conferences actually. One was Canto, which is the biggest telecommunications conference in the Caribbean region, where I was facilitating a Women in ICT forum. And secondly, I attended the Clinton Global Initiative Conference in Miami that was focused on rebuilding the Caribbean islands after last year's hurricane. If those of you don't know, I actually live in the islands. I live in Antigua, and whilst we weren't too badly impacted, a lot of our neighbouring islands were, and it was how we bring people together. I called it like a speed dating for NGOs and companies in the region. So it was very, very busy, and I know a lot of people have been up and about at work. But what I was thinking about here for this week is what happens when you're returning to work, not after a holiday, but actually after a career break. And this is a lot more difficult, I suppose, or more impacting return to work process than most people can imagine. Now, my research indicates that the four most common reasons for women quitting their jobs are marriage, relocation, childbirth, and caring for the elderly. And the breaks can range from anything from 6 months to 15 years. So pretty big distance in between, and each will have their own different impact. An unplanned career break can spell disaster for most professionals, and unfortunately many women really interrupt their careers for personal reasons. Who do so without a plan in mind, and without an end date. It can actually stretch for much longer than that actually anticipated. But whatever motives you've had for taking a career break, finding a job can be daunting enough. But it's even more unnerving when you've taken a break from work. You may feel anxious about starting a new job. You may worry that your skills are a little rusty if you've been out of it for a long time, and a lot has changed since you've been there. And US studies indicate that 70% of women fear taking a career break. Now, from my experience coaching female executives, I know that a lot can suffer from lack of confidence. It doesn't matter how well they were, how senior were in the role, there is still a lack of confidence. They can feel out of touch with what's been going on in the corporate world, that they put on hold, and they've become convinced that it's going to be impossible to find a satisfying corporate role after taking time out. And as I said, being a senior executive, being a leader, coming out in a leadership role, it can be especially daunting when you're trying to return in that position. Now, if you find yourself in that situation, I've got some effective tips that you can use to increase your chance of stepping back into employment following career break. Doesn't necessarily have to be a leader, but these are aimed at people who've led people before. Now, the first thing is to own your break, own your career break. It's quite common for a woman to feel that a gap on their resume or the CV will ruin their career chances. However, don't view it as a handicap. See it as something positive that can differentiate you from other candidates. You're going to have a hard enough job trying to mask the break, especially if you've not been working for a long period of time. So don't try to hide it. A break itself can offer lots of benefits that can make you just an attractive hire, if not more so. If you've had a long break, you'll likely have to discuss it within your cover letter as well as during interviews. No matter what your reason for your extended leave from the workforce, keep your explanation brief. Think of all the new skills you may have developed during your break and explain how they can relate to the role you're applying for. For example, did you take a course in new technology? Did you do volunteer work, develop your leadership skills? These things that will help you in your new role that you're applying for. Write a list of all the jobs you've ever done, and for each of them identify what you enjoyed, felt challenged by, disliked, and what provided the most work satisfaction. Look for patterns. Were there any particular skills or roles that stood out just as ones you loved, or the ones you really didn't enjoy? That's just important, finding that information out. Pay attention to anything you learn about yourself and use it to inform the kind of roles that you want to apply for. Be prepared to address the questions that arise. You can't avoid them. So what did you learn about your industry during your downtime? What did you learn about yourself? What did it teach you about your goals and priorities? How do these relate to the position you're after? If you take some time to consider these questions and reframe your personal pitch, or you're going to talk about, you'll be well on your way to feeling far more comfortable and confident explaining your gap during your job search. For whatever reason you've been away, try to distill it down to something very brief, and then return the conversation to the work you did prior to your time away. Your work experience still remains relevant, even if some time has passed since you've gained that experience. You don't just lose it. Secondly, assess your situation. Many women, make the mistake of jumping into the first job offer they receive, believing that if I don't do it, nothing else is going to come up. I better not risk turning it down because this is all that's going to be there for me. Now, let's be honest. If you're not honest about a job, if you're not sure about the job, the interviewer themselves can sense that. They can sense your uncertainty, and they'll be unlikely to take you further in the hiring process. And as a leader, you've probably conducted a fair few interviews yourself, so you know the signs. If you're fortunate to secure a job that isn't right for you, you might even find yourself job hopping. You might keep changing the job because you're just not happy, because you want to find the right one. That in itself causes added complexity to your interview process, because not only are you talking about the gap that you've had, but you've always got to talk about the jobs that you've changed so quickly. So my advice is, it's important to take some time to really assess your situation first, decide what you want to do, talk to a coach, talk to somebody like me, former colleagues, close friends. Keep an open mind. Remember, what was right for you before your career break may not be the best fit for you now, so really consider your options. The third thing is, don't wait to be found. This is not the time to be passive. Don't wait thinking the right job is going to come along. In order to make a career change or return back or tweak it, you need to get out there and start changing things for yourself. So once you're clear of the direction you want to take, start talking to people, offering your services, commenting, attending suitable events, etc. Don't forget to use your existing connections. Spend some time reaching out to your previous colleagues, clients, friends, family, network. Let them know you're seeking a new position. Just be more visible. Staying connected via LinkedIn or other social media platforms will also help you stay ahead of the curve in the long run. Subscribe to industry magazines that you're familiar with, blogs and newsletters to further arm yourself with the knowledge of your industry. And if you haven't done so already, update your LinkedIn profile or edit it to show you the best light possible. Then connect with ex-colleagues, friends and other potentially useful acquaintances. If someone may be useful, send them a message. Ask them if they can help you. This is not the time to be shy. If they know someone who needs your skills, they may also be happy to refer you. Work on your personal brand and be clear what you'll say when asked. Tell me about yourself and what made you decide to return. And what is your value now? These opening lines are vital. Practice your responses endlessly with your coach, your friends. Failing that, video them, look at them, listen to what you're saying. 4, be confident and prepared, and be prepared for change. Whether you've been away from work for 10 months or 10 years, getting back into the leadership realm can be nerve-wracking. However, the most important thing is that you remain confident in your abilities. Without confidence, you can easily undervalue what you can offer as a leader. No matter how well you prepare, taking a sabbatical means there'll be changes. When you return to work, be ready to take on a few challenges before you settle back in. For instance, you may feel you lack credibility, having not managed or led people in a while, but credibility is built over time. Just trust in your abilities. Once you're offered a role, don't devalue yourself. Make sure that you pitch yourself at the right salary and the proper rates for any specialist service or product that you're going to provide. Having been out of the game doesn't make you any less valuable. Try not to worry about what other people expect of you or assumptions about what you should do, and instead focus on what you want. It's all too easy to get caught up in a people-pleasing trap or adhere to other people's expectations of what you can do, and ignore the voice that inside of you that says, but this is not what I want. Follow your gut, follow what you want. By pursuing a role you're not a perfect fit for, or that doesn't fire you up, it isn't good for you or your long-term career. So listen to your own instincts and apply for the kind of positions that will stretch and fulfill your needs and passions. Last, remember you have so much to offer. Don't ever apologise for taking a break. It's not necessary and it will undermine you. Remember that women return to the workplace, add value and bring fresh thinking and a mature perspective. So that's my take on going back to work after career break. Now, if you want any help, any support, you want to talk through your options or support in taking that big step in going back to work, I can help. So just contact me at info@janicesutherland.com so we can arrange our free discovery session. We can discuss how I can help you and support you getting back into the world of work as a leader. If you want to keep in touch with me, follow me on my social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook under I am Janice Sutherland, or just drop me a message, drop me a note, tell me how things are getting on. As ever, always a pleasure talking to you. So until next week, be bold, be fearless, be phenomenal, be you. Until next time.